Hello, hello, hello. What is up, mi gente? Happy Wednesday. It is your girl, Ideally, and you are on here live with, or the replay, watching Ideals with Ideally. What is up, you guys? I hope everybody had a happy 4th of July yesterday. I know I've seen many people celebrating, having fun with their family, barbecues, and I know there's a lot of controversy sometimes that's like about what we're celebrating, but at the end of the day, for many people, it's a day off work, it's a day with family, it's a day to just enjoy some time. So I'm glad that a lot of you guys had that capability, that option, because I've seen a lot of your posts, and so that was really nice to see. I love seeing families connect. I stayed home. We didn't do much. My 16-year-old is on vacation. My 19-year-old does his own thing. It was just Romani, Ramon, and I. We had a game night, played Monopoly. They went to the pool all day. And then, we watched a couple of fireworks at night. But it wasn't too bad. And we didn't even plan that. That was like sporadic. I mean, not sporadic, but yeah, I guess it's sporadic, right? It was just out of the moment. We are just like, let's go walk the dog. And we went and watched them. But yeah, that's it. So hello. I'm so glad that you guys are watching this week. I'm excited. I'm excited, but I am like calmly excited because I feel like the topic this week is really going to touch somebody. Like it's really going to help somebody to, move in a different place or, just really find their self-worth, right? And that's why the topic is called You Are Worth It. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that, okay, so let me start from the beginning. Basically, you are worth it, right? That's here on Ideals with Ideally. Hi, guys. You're on with Ideals with Ideally. Welcome. It's Wednesday, 8 p.m. You already know what time it is. I'm going to come on here and bring you guys some value. I'm going to make it as short and quick as possible. So let's go. So your self-worth versus self-confidence. I like to talk about that because a lot of the time right now, all we hear is, oh, believe in yourself, believe and you can achieve, believe, which is true. Don't get me twisted. Like I definitely believe that, but that's only half of it. And I heard this amazing story from Jamie Kern Lima. All right, you don't know who she is, look her up. Jamie Kern Lima, she has an amazing, incredible story on how she turned her business, she went from here to there. Like people turned her down. Like they told her she wasn't good enough. Like, her story is incredible. And so listening to her, she says that, you can believe in yourself all you want, but if you don't have self-worth, then it's really not, it's gonna sabotage that belief, right? Because you can have a confidence in your skill. Like you can know you do a good job. Like I know I ride a bike better than anybody else. So I know I can do this job. I can type an email better than anybody else. Like you have this confidence because you have the skill, you have the talent, whatever it may be, whether it's jogging, whether it's, at work, you're a beast. If they give you this, you're going to kill it, right? That's self-confidence. That's your belief in something, right? But your self-worth is that little voice in the background that says, no, probably not. You should probably put your hand down. They're not going to get it. Oh, don't turn it in. You did it, but don't turn it in. You should probably ride your bike a little slower or whatever it is. I'm using many examples so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, that's the self-worth, right? And that's what we're missing. That's what a lot of us don't have. We don't believe that we're worthy of it. We don't believe that we are worthy of a good life, or we are worthy of the promotion, or we are worthy of a good relationship with a good man, or we are worthy of a happy marriage, or we are worthy of good relationships with our kids. Like we don't believe that we're worth it. And it's not, we've been beat up. Like, come on now. I know I'm talking to you guys. I know you guys hear me. We have been beat up. A lot of people have illnesses or death in the family, close members, not close members, stuff. The life happens all the time. We lose jobs or things happen. You're trying to build that business and it falls down. You just keep going and keep going. You get beat up, right? And I heard something really good too. It's like where it starts. You know where that self-worth, where that doubt starts? It's not even only because I know everybody says, oh, you hear no so many times growing up when your parents, no, don't touch it. No, right? It's not even that. Really, it's not even that. It is that first time. Let's see if you guys can remember. That very first time when you were going to raise your hand because you knew the answer to the question. It starts that young. Hi, mommy. It starts that young. You knew the answer to the question and you were going to raise your hand and something told you no. That self-doubt that creeps in, that was the very first moment. You knew what you wanted to say. You knew the answer, whatever it was. You were a kid. It may have happened to you when you were older. It may have not been when you were a kid. It may have happened to you when you were older. That's when that self-doubt and your self-worth starts building from that. Because now all of a sudden, you're doubting yourself and you're like, oh, no, maybe not, right? And you put your hand down and you didn't answer that question in kindergarten, second grade, first grade, fourth grade. Yeah, it goes all the way back, y'all. We got to go deep to heal these wounds, okay? You got to go deep to get that self-worth and figure out your value because you're valuable. You were perfectly made, okay? So self-worth is definitely accepting yourself for who you are. Again, you can be confident in your speech, in your talents. You can be confident in your skills, your acting abilities, whatever you got. But if you don't have self-worth, you're never going to believe, you're never going to have that you are valuable enough to own, have, or build any kind of those things, You got to consider the world. Like I said, we've been beat up, right? So I heard this on Monday prayer call with Devin Walker. He does these prayer calls. D. Walker Expires on Mondays. And he said, consider the world, consider your way, and then consider the word, right? It's going to be a big difference. And some of our way goes towards the world's way because it's easy to get entrapped into that way. But if we go the word and we follow the word, life changes. And that's a fact. I can argue that with you. But I like that I like this saying. It says, we plateau at the level of our self-worth versus soaring into the level of our hopes and dreams. You guys, versus soaring, believing in yourself, going out there and putting yourself out there on a daily basis, knowing that you're worth it. Whatever it may be, whether you're looking for a man, whether you want a happy marriage, whether you want a good relationship with your kids, whether you want a promotion at your job, whether you want to start your own business. This is not tending to anybody in particular. This happens in anything. We plateau at our self-worth. Sometimes we even start it, okay? We start the process, but we don't finish, right? We get into that interview room and we know we're worth the raise, but we're nervous and we're scared. And we're more like, yeah, sure, My old boss, right? I used to work at the women's group. I worked there 10 years. A lot of people know that. I think I said that last time too. But, she used to give us oh my God, I forgot the name of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. Basically like a self-survey, right? To see how you're doing, right? And of course, they would use that, later on for interviews. For raise time. But she would give you number 1 through 5. And she would say, okay, rate yourself on all of these, right? And then, so the first couple of years, I always rated myself like a 3, even though I was really good there and they loved me. But it was my self-worth. I didn't believe the value. And then she would give me her rate. And guess what? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And she said, the only reason I didn't give you a 5 is because there's always room for improvement. Yo, that stuck with me. That comment, that right there, completely stuck with me. Because she's right. After that, I'm doing the job. I was doing an amazing job. I'm valuable. I'm worth it. And here I am giving myself 2s and 3s because I feel like I could do better here. I could do better there. No, give yourself the higher number But again, don't always go to the top because there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. Okay. And so I love that, that she taught me that lesson. I'll never forget it. Hey, Rosie, what's up, mama? So yeah, so, you know, you'll never be anybody else. You'll never be anybody else. Like, you will never, no matter what you do, no matter what you try to do, you are who you are. So learn to love that, have that self-worth, have that value in yourself. Learn to, you know, put the work in and to change the little habits, which we're going to go over a couple of things at the end here, which is going to be short. I told you this is going to be short and sweet. Just to kind of, you know, move towards your value, like move towards your worth, and knowing that no matter what happens to you, it's okay. Like, no matter where you are in your age, like no matter where you are in your life, it is okay. And you are worth it. Like, you're worth going for it. Even if you fail, even if you fall. I gotta tell my son all that. You guys know, you know, the whole feel the fear and do it anyway. That was one of my first lives. Like, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay. You're going to fall. All right. So here's a couple of steps so I don't start going over and over. Number one, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all of everything that you've ever said to yourself that didn't match what your, you know, value is. Everything that you said to yourself that doesn't match your true worth, your true identity, your true being. Anything that anybody's ever done to you, even if it wasn't your fault. Forgive yourself. That is the number one thing. You got to start with a clean, fresh slate. Forgive yourself, okay? I know it's harder than it sounds. Trust me. I've been there. I'm only talking to you guys from experience. I'm only this fabulous because of the things that I've done. Like, period. You know what I mean? Because God made me in his image, and I believe that. And I know I'm worth it. And I love myself. And only working through these things was I able to figure that out. Okay. And so the number 2 is take inventory. So write down like 10 things. Just kind of gives yourself a baseline of where you're starting. Write down 10 strengths and 10 weaknesses, right? And have them coincide. I mean, most of the time they, you know, go this way and that way. But, you know, just write those things down and you start from there. Okay. Number 3, set realistic expectations. Set small goals, like daily changes in your life. I'm big on the mirror talk, y'all. It completely changed me. It was weird at first. I'm telling you, when Darren had us doing that, I was like, oh my God, this is so awkward. I even told myself, like, you lie? Why are you lying for? You know, but at the end of the day, it's what has changed. So set small changes and they will grow gradually. And they'll get bigger and you'll start seeing more of a difference, okay? Number 4, stop being a perfectionist, period. Ain't nobody perfect. The only perfect person in this world was the Lord Jesus Christ, and he walked this earth, and he was the only one that was perfect. That's it. You're never going to be perfect. That's why I don't even like to say practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't, because you're never perfect. There's always room for improvement. Practice makes permanent. And that's what I used to always tell my kids. Practice makes permanent. So if you practice even on your self-worth, it'll become a permanent thing as you gradually grow into your self-worth. Okay. Number 5, be willing to trust your self-image. This one I struggle with a lot because we're growing as we age, as we get older. You know, a lot of things start to change and a lot of things start to grow. And it was hard for me to accept that, right? Because I still feel like this 20-year-old girl, even though I have kids and all this stuff, like, right? And I may not look like that anymore. And I know I'm beautiful, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I had to evolve with myself, like my self-image. And I had to be okay with that, right? And I had to really, really just, you know, set myself up for meaningful achievement. And that's realizing that there's going to be certain stages in your life where things are going to happen, right? Things are going to change. And I really had to come to that in my heart and say, you know, it's okay. It's okay. So number 5 is be willing to trust your self-image. Go through the stages of life. Know that just because you're getting older doesn't mean you're less valuable. Doesn't mean you're not worth it. Okay? And again, this is one of the one I recently struggled with. I'm about to be 42 here on Saturday. Saturday's my birthday. And I'm going to be 42 years old. And so I recently had to, deal a lot with number 5. Okay? And then last but not least, number 6, stop comparing yourself to others. Like, it's such a trap, and people could fall in so hard. Like, man, if I was to do that right now, I would should be like, oh my God, I'm 42. I'm about to be 42, but I don't weigh like 200. Excuse me, I do weigh two something. I don't weigh 150 pounds like I used to. I'm not making 7 figures like I planned to. I don't have this huge big house like I wanted. My kids and. Right? I could compare myself to all these other people who I know have these things, right? Or, vice versa, whatever the case may be. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Stop comparing yourself. It's such a trap, and it messes up your self-worth, your self-value. You start to feel like you're not worth it, and you don't want to do that, okay? One of the things that I noticed about your self-worth, right? An example of how to put the difference in your self-worth. Like, your self-confidence is like, oh, I look pretty today. Oh, my hair looks nice. I look great. Yes, right? I'm doing the thing. Let's go, right? But your self-worth has you look at Instagram or somebody walking down the street and you see that hairstyle, or you see that she's, may be a certain typical, beauty standard that supposedly society says. And then you start to think, oh, but if I look like that, I would look better. Right? But if I had that haircut, maybe if I had curly hair, I would look so much better. Or if I got my nails done, I would look so much better. Right? Right? That's the difference. That's the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. You were just confident. You just did your hair. You put your makeup on. You took all this time. You got ready. You're looking beautiful. You walk out the door. And all of a sudden, you're not worth it. Because somebody else that you may have seen in them. That's the difference. And that's why we have to work on our self-worth. Okay. And so that's number 6. And believe it or not, like, working but listening. And hey, boo, thank you so much. Oh, thank you for joining. And look at that. She said she's working but listening in. I appreciate you. I hope this is able to bring you value. I'm going to wave at you real quick. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. But yeah, at the end of the day, your self-worth also builds on service. I'm telling you, when you are in service to others, and that doesn't necessarily mean giving them something like that, but when you're at the store and you smile at somebody and you really catch their eye and you really look at them and you really care about how they may be doing that day, or how most of us are like at the line and we're like, oh, what are we gonna do today? Or like, you got 1,000 things going in your head, right? As you're encountering something with someone. Like you're having a human experience, right? Possibly even a spiritual experience, just looking at them and whatever they may be. But yet we're so wrapped up in ourselves, in our lives, that we don't take that moment to actually look somebody in the eye and call out their name. Like, I love calling out names on a name tag. Like, when I see a name tag, I'm like, oh, hey, Jennifer, how are you? And they look like, one lady not too long ago, she grabbed her name tag, like, oh, how does she know my name, right? But she grabbed her name tag. She went for it. But people value that, and that builds your self-worth, because when you see somebody, they see you. When you see somebody, they see you. That was from me. That's not mine. That is from that Jennifer Lima that I'm talking about, okay? When you see somebody, they see you. And those little things start to build your self-worth. Believe it or not, when you're in service to others, whatever it may be, holding the door for somebody, just giving a smile, just saying yes, or grabbing a bag, whatever it is. I know nowadays you got to be careful because the world is the way it is, right? But at the end of the day, when you're in service to others, I promise you, you'll start to grow your self-worth and your value, and you realize that you are worth it, okay? And yes, I know we don't put our value in others, but yes, we do, because that's what God told us to do. He said, love one another, love me, and then love one another, okay? That's what he said. He definitely said that. And so the last analogy that I have for you guys is like your self-worth, right? It's like big red like a red circle, like, right? It's bread. And I pick red because bread is bright and it's bold and it's, you know, beautiful and it's love and it's blood and, you know, it's just red, right? And then that first time, like I said earlier, when you had that self-doubt, when you were going to raise your hand in that classroom and you decided not to answer the question, right? You decided not to go through with it. It got a little black crack in it, right? And then you got bullied in school, or you got a bad grade and you got yelled at, or your parents were arguing, or, you know, these things started happening in your life where all these little black cracks are coming up on this red ball, right? And all of a sudden it's almost all black. You're older now. No matter what age you are, you've been through life. Life has beat you up. And now you're like, what am I going to do? Like, you have this black ball with just this little speck of red. And that's why I said, I may not always be talking to everybody, but I'm talking to somebody. That little speck of red is still there. It doesn't never fully get black, ever. The red is still under there. And once you start doing these little changes, number 1, forgive yourself. Number 2, take inventory and give yourself credit. Number 3, set realistic expectations. Number 4, stop being a perfectionist. Number 5, be willing to adjust your self-image. Number 6, stop comparing yourself to others. And this is a bonus one. Be in service to others. When you start doing these things, the red starts coming back. The black starts cracking off, and that beautiful, bold red strength, meaning love, meaning courage, meaning honor, starts coming back. And you start feeling your self-worth. And every day you wake up a little bit more cheerier. And every day you want to just push a little bit harder. And every day you smile a little bit more on yourself. And I look this way because there's a mirror there. And I wanted to look in the mirror right now because that's what I was feeling, right? Right? Just every day it pushes you. Every single day, that no matter what happens, that's not mean that you're not going to have a bad day. Don't get it twisted. In this world, you will have tribulation. But guess what? He overcame the world. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay? You're going to have tribulation. I'm not saying you're not. But at the end of the day, you build your self-worth. You build your value. You will walk into that room, in that conference, in that speech you have to make, in that first date with confidence. Even though you're still being nervous, you'll be having confidence. In your marriage conversations and your relationships with your children, you'll be walking in with confidence. And because you have self-worth and you know your value and you know what you bring to the table and you know it's about to go down. Okay? That's right, right? That's right. That is right. That's how you start to feel. And I'm telling you guys this because I just had to go through all those steps because I feel you, right? But that's life. And let me tell you, even with my positivity and my perkiness, I'm not for everybody. I have gone through where I have tried to be in service to someone and I have not gotten a good response from them. I'm like trying to be, how you do? Not trying, I'm genuinely caring because I genuinely care how you're doing or what's going on or if you're having a good day or not or whatever the case may be. You know, I know we can't sit there and give you a therapy session, but sometimes I don't get, believe it or not, I know it's hard, right? I don't always get the response but I don't do it for that reason. And I'm not for you. I'm not that cup of tea. It wasn't for you. I'm not talking to everybody. Just like on here, I'm not talking to everybody. But there is someone who needs to hear this and know that you are worth it. Okay? You're worth it. If you don't believe in yourself, believe that Ideally says you are worth it. Let's go. That is your ideals with Ideally. Thank you so much for joining. We will be back next Wednesday for sure. Ooh, nope. 2 things. 1, I got my scripture. Don't think I forgot. I do have my scripture. But 2, I'm going to be moving to Tuesdays. So next week is going to be on Tuesday. I didn't even look at the date because I'm going to be committing my Wednesdays even ahead of time because I don't have a car yet. But I know that the Lord is about to bless me with one. And so I am going to be committing the Wednesdays to studying. So I have to change this and it's going to go next Tuesday is the 11th. Okay. So next Tuesday, the 11th at 8 p.m. So we're still going to do it next Tuesday, the 11th at 8 p.m. And of course, a trusty scripture for this week. If you didn't write anything else down, if you didn't write the number 1 through 5 with the bonus number 7, if you didn't write anything down, write this down, read it, own it, love it, okay? Philippians 4, 8 through 9. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is any worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. What? Oh, look, I just hit the back of my head. Because I get so fired up. Like you just asked. I'm like, okay, you know, I knew what I want to talk about. I'm like, let your words come through. Let it be your shining light. And I say, boom. And then this one comes on. One of my favorite scriptures, right? Right. I'll read it again for the people in the back who didn't hear me. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, not whatever is phony, not whatever is fake, not whatever lies you heard, not whatever you thought may have happened to you, not whatever you've been going through, not what your boss said about you, not that your husband yelled at you, not that your kids are mad at you, not that you hungry and you want to eat, not that you broke, not that you waiting for your next paycheck. No, none of that. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, love, service, worthiness, okay? Whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is any worthy of praise, think about these things, okay? What you have learned and received and heard and seen in him, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. And that, my friend, is one thing that I can promise you. Philippians 4, 8 through 9. Thank you so much. I will see you guys next week. That is your Ideals with Ideally. Have a great night. Good night, guys.